Hey guys, welcome back. This is Popo Joe Explode, and today I come to you. We're going to be making paper cartridges for the 1851 Navy in 36 caliber. So, let me just go ahead and show you what we need. You're going to need, see here, 36 caliber, oversized 375 balls or conicals. Zigzag rolling paper. I've used Bugle in the past, and Bugle doesn't stay together as well as this stuff does. This stuff really adheres to itself, and I guess it's the Cut Corners brand. It's got a gum line, so it really sticks once you get it wet. And I have not had any problem. In fact, I had one rip a little bit, and I just wet my finger and I went over it, and it stayed together. By far, I'm happy with this rolling paper, the best that I've ever tried to make paper cartridges out of. And I've tried to make them in the past when I was living in Austin, and I don't think I did a video on them. I think it was in the Smith Cavalry carbine video where I did use them, and they're not as good as these cartridges I'm making, and I was using that Bugle paper, and that's probably why. But yeah, the stuff, the Zigzag Cut Corners, try to get these. Okay, and I've got a bunch. They're 99 cents per little packet, and there's 32 leaves in here. So yeah, so super cheap. If you can find them, try to get these. Okay. You're also gonna need powder flask with 3F black powder or Pyrodex. I'm using Pyrodex, and you're gonna need a powder measure. I've got it set right now on 20 grains. It is a 36 caliber, and 20 grains. I think 15 is like the recommended. I've shot up to 30 grains in it, and it's really hot at 30. And 25 grains I'm really comfortable with, and I've actually liked the performance with 20 grains of powder, so we'll be using 20 grains of powder. You're also going to need scissors, super glue. Try to get the one with the brush on. It's just a little bit more easier to control, and how much you can put on there. It's by far a little easier to use, and once again, I like this stuff over like a glue stick because it's fast drying. And you're also going to need yourself some sort of dowel rod. Right now I'm using a pen. It was kind of a crapshoot to find a pen because I'm using round ball, and pretty much all I did is I found a pen, I got my round ball, and pretty much I was like, okay, is it close? Okay, it's pretty close. I think a dowel rod will probably work better, but as you can see, this is probably the same width as a standard Bic pen, and it is slightly less in diameter than the 375 ball. So this pen is pretty much perfect to use with this ball. So I'm also going to show you how expedient I make the cartridges, because I found a little trick, especially with glue drying time, and that is we're going to be making the next 8. Okay. Also, if you got one of these and the trash, one with a bottom to it, go ahead and get them. It makes things a little easier on you. And until I make some better cases for them, this over the top, string like a present tied, makes a pretty decent little carrying case for them for the time being. So, you know, but whatever. In the end product, you'll get something that looks a little like this. Okay. All right. So let me see if I can. It's probably a good angle, but I'm going to try it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so first things first. Get yourself out 2 leaves. Try not to rip them. Yeah. So. Okay. Now once you've got 2, put them on your dowel rod or your pen, like so. Try to keep it straight. And a lot of people like to use water. I just use my tongue and I go, you know, I hit it like I'm actually making a cigarette. So just licking it, like the top portion by where the gum line is, keeping it tight, and just go over like so. Lick my finger, kind of go back over the line. And I do a lot of licking of the finger making these, so I make sure if you're gonna do it like I do, wash your hands. You don't want anything gnarly on it. So anyways, just take it off like so, and there you go. So once you got that, take your scissors and try to find the best kind of right down the middle as best as you can, right about there. Alright, so that right there is going to give me 2 cartridges. I'm going to do the same one with this. Okay, I'm going to lick it like I'm making a another cigarette. Okay, get it tight. And yep, the finger again, down the crease, making sure it's all done up. Taking off like so. Find the middle as best as I can, eyeballing it right there. So there we go. Once you've got that, you get out your balls, these balls. And what I like to do is I like to hold it just like this in my hand with my fingers positioned like that. It kind of cradles it, especially for when you just have the round ball. If you have a conical, it's a little easier to deal with, I'm sure, but I'll hold it like that. So get out your super glue. Well, first of all, you're going to want to put one of these back onto your dowel rod or your pen. Kind of back it off a little bit. Get your glue. Hold the ball, and then put the glue kind of like in a circle around the top, like so. Take your your paper, and kind of go right on top. Press it down really gently, like that, and then kind of don't let your dowel rod or your pen get stuck to the glue, nor your hand to the ball, because you'll just you'll start sticking to everything and you'll probably rip the paper. So very gently, just rotate the paper ever so gently onto the ball. Make sure all the way around is good, and come down here and just drop it off. I don't like to put it in one of these while it's drying because I don't want it to dry to the plastic, so that's why I kind of leave them out. And they're bottom heavy, and they'll just stand up like that, so it's not a real big deal. So put another one on there. It's a round ball again. Now a lot of YouTube videos, they only make they'll like show you making like 2 or 1 or something like that. But there's a reason I'm going to show you how I make 8, because there's a reason behind it. And really the reason behind it is speed. And I know this in itself is its own little fun project, and really I'm not in a rush. But you know, it's taken me a couple of hours with a couple breaks and going to the store and stuff like that to make about 35 so far. So it's a good project on like your day off or day before the range, and you just want to start making all your cartridges. So maybe you need a little bit of time and expediency. So there you go, that's 2. Now I was doing 2 at a time. Now I've upped it to 4 at a time. try not to let the ball rotate in your fingers, because I've already had that happen once to me today, and it was a sticky mess, and all my fingers got covered in super glue. So just like that. Okay, and last one. All right. Same dealio, right on top, just like that. Boom. So there's your first 4. Now, I've noticed with the super glue, just let those sit right there. Come back here. Get out 2 more leaves. What you want to do is just make another 4. Because by the time you're done making these 4, those will be dry. So, without me jib-jabbing, just go ahead and make these real quick. Eventually we'll get a process down and it goes a little faster. Now, I've made them in the past, and I used to grease my barrels, but since I'm using an oversized ball, I'm not going to be using the grease. I've seen it done both ways on YouTube, people shooting them, and honestly, as long as you don't, from what I've seen, as long as you don't use an undersized ball, you're not going to have a chain fire. So, yeah, so I wouldn't really worry about patching, because no one else seems to have any problems with it making these cartridges like so. Because they're the same balls that I use when I load it traditional, and they're all right. Make that gas seal with that little ring that pops out after you've loaded it, and you shouldn't have a problem. I know of one video on YouTube that he actually got a chain fire to happen on film. You can find it, and it's because he used undersized balls. So with using no wadding, I'm just going to go ahead and not use any grease either. But to each his own. To each his own. If you want to use grease, that's good. But honestly, I like to use wads. Grease tends to just get on everything and everywhere, and I don't really like it. It's a tight roll on that one. Every time you put it back on the dowel or the pen, mind you, this is 36 caliber, so that's why I'm able to use a pen. 44, I think you guys are just gonna have to deal with finding a dowel rod that's gonna be the best option. So you can see why I prefer to use the super glue with the brush on it, because if you use too much and it gets everywhere, you start gluing fingers together and pens to balls, and it's overly not a good thing. And it's a little more controllable, which is fine. So, number 3 out of the second batch. Sometimes you have to kind of coax it on. You'll think it sticks, and then it won't. So you're gonna have to kind of make sure. Okay. Yeah, that's on. And also, when you're doing this, you always try to not crush your paper. Try to keep it always cylindrical as best as you can. That way, putting it on and dumping powder into it is a lot less you got to fight. The pressure. Okay. All right. So that's the next 4. All right. So we got 8 of these done. So let's go ahead. Yep. Guess what? Dry. That one had a bubble on it. So, but it's dry enough. This one's dry. This one's dry. What I like to do is I like to go ahead and drop it on in here. At that point, take your powder measure. Take your powder. And 20 grains. I need to fill my thing back up. All right. The more you got done, the faster this process seems to go. Now, not all these will tend to look uniform. Even though you have the same ball and the same powder measure, some actually look, depending where they seat on the ball, how tight you got the roll, may look a little shorter than others. I don't think it's anything to worry about if you got the same amount of grain and a powder in. There's really not going to be a whole lot of difference. Okay, so now once you got the powder in, go ahead and take one. Kind of make sure it's all settled. Kind of pinch it. Find where the line is where you rolled it, and roll in the same direction. Kind of pinch as you go, as you roll, just like this. And then lick the finger, and then kind of go along like that. Take your scissors, get kind of close to the butt, but leave a little nub right there, and cut it. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. Lick the finger. And like so. Cut it. Just like that. Try not to spill the powder. Like the finger. And yeah, you could just spin it, but I like to lick the finger because it is wrapping paper, and it will wrap a little tighter and will stay in position and adhere to itself even better. Okay. Get it going. Like the finger. Bam. Alright. Now that those are done, take a wild guess. Look, completely dry. So, you're still doing 4 of everything at a time, and it's allowing you to move to another step into another step without missing a step, and allowing everything to dry at one time. So that's why I like doing 4 at a time and making 8 in one session. So same step, 20 grains of powder, and of course if you're loading a 44, 25 to 30 grains, or for either one of these, however grains you like, and then maybe some cornstarch filler, not cornstarch, but I mean cornmeal. I think when I started, I actually used baby powder to enhance what I called blanks at the time. I guess when I was out there making that Smith Cavalry carbine video, I knew reenactors, they use blanks or leadless loads, and I was seeing if it would actually enhance the cloud, and sure enough it did. But that's a little tidbit for you guys that I didn't get on video. Last one. Okay. Yeah, a little bit left of this. Get in there. Okay. So, next 4. And just keep the process going. Pinch very lightly while you spin, get it started, lick the finger, and continue to spin it in your finger. Get it nice and tight, get up close to the butt, not all the way up to it, but enough to leave a little nub at the end. Spin this one the other way. If you see something where like the paper is kind of like arcing up where it didn't adhere, ain't too late just to lick your finger and go across it, just like that. And look at there, fixed. But if you want to use water, that's cool too. I've seen it done both ways. So like I said, some of these are going to look a little shorter or taller than others, just depending on how tight you got the paper and where the paper sits on the ball. So don't be worried if you didn't put enough powder in one and you put too much in the other. If you're using your powder measure, I wouldn't worry about it. But they're pretty uniformed. So once you've got them all like so, get your super glue once again and hit the butts of all of them, just to make sure that they're not going to come undone. I do the same thing on my rifle cartridges, and works. I didn't have any problems. And the ones I got for next range day have not come back open. And I made those close to a week ago. So there you go, guys. That's 8 cartridges made in just a couple of minutes. They look just like so. This is kind of an ugly one. There's the first one. They look just like this. paper cartridges, and you want whatever you're using as a dowel rod or your pen to be slightly smaller in diameter than your ball, because when you take the gun and you put it in, what you want is you just want them to fall on in like so, and then of course the ball is going to be bigger, so that way when you press it in, you get the good gas on that little ring will fall out, and you know it's in there good. So that's the main reason. That's why a lot of people they'll make the cartridges a little didn't want to come out. They make them a little tapered. They make them a little tapered down for that reason alone. But as you can see, these are straight. They're just a little bit smaller in diameter than the actual ball itself, and it does the same thing, and it works quite well. So once again, cartridge, gun, they fit right in just like that, so absolutely no issue. Except when I don't want to load it right now and I just want the thing to come back out. So yeah, so I think in the video I'll be having coming up is actually making professional boxes for these, but for right now, to go to the range, I'm just gonna put the other same kind and I'm gonna tie it with some string, and there I go. 50 paper cartridges for the next probably 2 range days, and yeah, so let's go ahead, take them out there, and see how they perform.